Welcome back to the third PDC Invitational Fishing Championship. Sports stars and celebrities are battling it out for the title here at Manor Farm in Bedfordshire. It's been a tough morning so far, with the big fish refusing to feed. It's starting to look like a low weight will win the match, which means anyone is in with a chance of taking the title.
Paul Smith now and Peg 22, and he's attached to what looks to be a half-decent carp 40. This is going to be a game changer this early on in the proceedings.
Certainly pulling back, isn't it? We know there are some lovely fish in here. You can see he's using possibly method feeder tactics. We'll have a little look in a second. If you look on his side tray, he's got a method feeder mould, some green pellets, some maggot. Paul looks like he knows what he's doing here, doesn't he?
He certainly does. You can see by the way he's got his box set up, everything's out nicely to hand. He's definitely an angler. You can see from the way that he's playing this fish that he knows what he's doing as well. And it's a carp just under his feet. This is the crucial time. We see a big boil there, just as the fish comes towards the surface. And let's have a look. Indeed, it is the method feeder 40. I've just seen the flatbed of that feeder come towards the surface, and he's fishing quite a long length there.
I'll see what's interesting. You watch the guys that know what they're doing here. He's not in any rush, totally unflappable.
It's a nice common carp that. That's about £8 by the look.
Look at the concentration on his face. He's not going to let this one go, is he? We've been waiting for this all morning, haven't we? We've seen a lot of quite nice silverfish caught. Everybody, as you say, is enjoying themselves, but the carp haven't showed, and maybe a few signs that they're just starting to have.
There it is. That's in. There's a cheer from the watching crowd. A round of applause as he nets what could potentially be a match winner. That's a good fish. That's a common carp, and if we just have a look into the net there, we can see the immense size of it in comparison with what we've seen so far. Most of the other guys have been catching silverfish, roach and bream. It's carp that are going to win this match, and that may well have done it.
What sort of size do you think that one is, Rob?
I reckon that's £8 plus. Let's have a little look at him. There we see it. Now I can see that a little bit better. I'm going to vary that to £6.
It's not 8.
Nevertheless, it's that's a decent fish. Well, it's a wonderful day down here today, and both spectators and competitors alike are really enjoying themselves, but there is a more serious side to it. It is a charity event, and all of the proceeds are in aid of Haven House. Now, 40 went up there to have a little look at the marvellous work they do.
This is Kai Davis and his mum Maxine. They're arriving at Haven House for today's music therapy session. It might be pouring with rain outside, but Kai doesn't mind a bit. He's been using the facilities here for the past 6 years. Without them, his life would be even more of a struggle than every day already is.
Mommy, hi, share with us. Are we ready for music? Oh, now it's time for music, music, music. Now it's time for music. Kai is here today.
He loves music, that's his one grace, is his hearing's perfectly fine. And music's always settled him, calmed him. The transformation is just amazing. Like, you heard him singing his ABC songs, and he's just moving his hands and responding in a way that I never thought would be possible. And it's transferred over to school, and they've said that he can now pick up like the tambourine with one hand and tap it with the other, when both hands usually work separately from each other. And little things like that I didn't think that music would have that effect on him, you know, and it's really, really nice to see.
You might already be starting to understand this place is a little bit special. The White House itself was used as party headquarters by Sir Winston Churchill in the Second World War. Now it performs a very different role. It's one that people who use it simply can't do without. Kai is one of 329 children on the books of the hospice. Every single one of them has a life-limiting illness or condition, which means they probably won't make it to adult life. Haven House gives respite care to their parents and therapy to the children. It's a charity which employs 60 staff in total and has been responsible for caring for 600 families since it opened here in 2003. Parents come here with very sick children, sometimes with very little hope. They leave having experienced incredible levels of care.
It's like an oasis of calm. So they come feeling very sad about their children, and like you say, it's a very uplifting environment and very supportive environment for them and their children. It's about support, living well, and we really aim to ensure that the families can live well with their sick child. The whole holistic approach to care, mind, body and spirit, to support the families and the children and their brothers and sisters through this difficult time with the diagnosis through to their death.
Although it works with the NHS, it has to find its own funding. 75% of the running costs are provided by fundraising, but just how much does it cost? The answer is a staggering £3.6 million per year. That's £3,835 per day, or £160 an hour. But ask any mum who's seen the difference Haven House can make whether it's worth it, and this is the answer you'll get.
When you find out that your child's got a life-limiting condition, it's quite isolating. Like, you're just sort of overwhelmed in the first few years with appointments and all this information and trying to deal with it, that you tend to just get trapped in your little bubble, and it's quite depressing. So when Haven House was recommended and we was referred, it took me a little while to sort of engage and trust and build that trust, but they're patient and they worked with me and just has given me so much support and help and taken me out of that isolation. That's been really, really helpful. And so without them, I would probably still be stuck, trapped, just me and the kids, and not found all these help and support and everything else. So yeah, brilliant. Wouldn't be here without them, I don't think.
Well, there we go. That's a fantastic insight to the wonderful work they do at Haven 40. Wow.
It's just inspirational, isn't it? Amazing people, an amazing place, and an amazing job that they do. We've just had the hooter for the halfway stage in the competition though, and now we're going to have a weigh-in. There are two weigh-ins today, so the match is split into two halves, and it's going to be interesting to see who's leading. I think we've got a fairly good idea, haven't we?
I think we have. One carp is going to make all the difference, certainly to the morning scores. Elsewhere, I think it's going to be fairly tight.
Let's go and have a look.
And here we have it, the big carp
For Paul Smith, that's
for Paul
nice
Smith. Now, we did have an estimate on this before. We reckon it's £6 2 ounces.
£6 exactly, yeah?
Oh, have you done this before, Mr. Hughes?
Well, it's about the same size as the ones I normally catch, 40. So.
Now, a little bird's told me that Mr. Smith's been practicing a little bit. We could see very clearly that he was an angler the way he played that fish, and he might have sneaked out a 22 last night from one of the other lakes while
Did
he
he
was
now?
practicing. Yes,
So
he
we did
did.
the night before we came in?
Yes, he did.
Good skills, right. Well, he's going to be kneeling down with that one.
Who's been snitching on me?
Let's get him down on the floor with that.
Yeah, come on.
And here we have it, the biggest fish of the competition so far.
I'm fairly confident that's going to put him in the lead over lunch. So here's the leaderboard at lunchtime after a tough morning's fishing. Former boxer Paul Smith led the way with one fish for £6 exactly. In second was match angler Steve Collett with £3 5 ounces of small silverfish. Rod Harrington was third. In the team event, the commentators were ahead at lunch with Scotty Mitchell's PDC foursome second. Just 3 ounces separated the bottom three teams, with James Wade's foursome in last place.